Hey sports fans, we're back, and today we're here to take a look at the insane diet and exercise of the man that calls the signals and pulls the strings of America's team over there in Big D, and that's the $160 million man, Dak Prescott, quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys. Since coming into the league as a fourth-round pick out of Mississippi State, Prescott had been considered a long shot who turned into a savior of the franchise. In his first 5 years, Dak has delivered early and often for the Dallas Cowboys and impressed the coaches and staff to the point where he quickly climbed through the depth chart before finally unseating an injured Tony Romo, whose job wasn't there when he returned from injury thanks to Dak's play. Dak's ascension to QB1 may have shocked some fans, but not the people who know how hard Dak works on his craft and how he attacks each day and especially any challenges in front of him. Before we dive into the crazy exercise and diet regimen of this 6-year quarterback and all the efforts he puts in to try to be great, do me a favor and click that subscribe button if you haven't already. All done? Alright, let's do this. When it comes to Dak's workout routine, keep in mind he's known for being the hardest working cowboy and one of the hardest workers in the league. You've heard the old hard-working athlete cliche, first one in, last one out, staying till sunsets, arriving before sunrise. Well, that's Dak Prescott in a nutshell by all accounts. As a matter of fact, Dak has often been told to leave the facility because he's going too hard with his training or preparation. Dak means well, but the Cowboy coaches have more of a unique challenge this year, rehabbing their franchise QB. The Cowboys training staff have a detailed program that they want all of their players to follow, and that program may be a little stricter and tougher when you're the main man in Big D like Dak is, and recovering from an injury that ended your season, and for the most part, the team's hopes. Shout out to Andy Dalton, but as the Cowboys faithful saw last year, the team runs a little differently when Dak is under center. According to Dak, his offseason program consisted of nothing but strength training, running, and throwing. Sound fun? For Dak, who claims he needs a challenge to get the best out of himself, it actually was. You've seen Dak's pregame warm-up dance or shuffle that went viral. Well, the Dak warm-up shuffle, or what's been coined the hip whip, is just one of the ways Dak gets loose and has a good time doing it. If you think he doesn't hear the criticisms of his little pregame warm-up routine, you're wrong. Dak knows it's entertaining, and Dak intends for it to be that way. He says he knows people are watching but still has to get loose. How Dak gets loose before working out is 20 to 30 minutes of stretching and getting his muscles loose and pliable before jumping into his workout. Dak keeps a certain looseness to his workout routine and has learned to be a little bit more grateful for his position after coming back from a year-ending injury, which has taught him to enjoy every aspect of the game more, including the challenging parts of rehabbing. Dak works out up to an intense 6 days a week and divides his days up based on muscle groups, but what remains consistent is that each day is grueling. As Dak recovers from his gruesome ankle injury, it's no wonder his workouts are so grueling, as Dak's timetable to recover from his season-ending injury to get himself ready for training camp was only about 8 months. Although Dak didn't want to put a timetable on his potential return or give his recovery status a percentage, it is unknown if Dak is 100%. The eyeball test would say he's a little below that, but don't tell that to Dak. While he was training to get back to 100%, he was trying to push himself like he was healthy, but coaches and trainers had to make Dak do something he's not accustomed to in his path to greatness: pace himself. Utilizing resistance bands and an entire resistance regimen to keep some of the extra force off his injured ankle, Dak worked out with caution before he felt comfortable enough on his recovering ankle to begin ramping things up. When he ramped up his exercises, Dak placed most of his workout focus on his lower body. His trainers felt it was best to strengthen the lower body, and for Dak, who injured his right ankle, to strengthen his calves and the surrounding muscles while getting his leg strength back to even better than it was pre-injury. To do this, Dak would utilize a series of calf raises, including a seated dumbbell calf raise, also a standing barbell calf raise, box jumps, and lateral lunges with a kettlebell. Dak put in the work 6 days a week for the last 9 months so he could survive the next 6 of the NFL season. According to team doctors, had it not been Dak Prescott recovering from this injury, it may have lingered into the season and the quarterback could have even started on the short-term injured reserve. But then again, it's Dak Prescott we're talking about, and someone with a work ethic and attention to detail that may be underrated, even though he's considered in the upper tiers of NFL quarterbacks. When it comes to Dak's upper body, the 28-year-old quarterback doesn't opt for heavy lifting, as he claims that's not really what players at his position do. If you've ever seen Tom Brady with his shirt off, then you know Dak has a big point. For his upper body exercises, Dak brings out the trusty resistance bands again and focuses on exercises that strengthen and improve his throwing motion. As we saw last year before Dak went down with his season-ending injury, his arm had improved tremendously since coming into the league. Before getting injured in Week 5 last season, Dak was on pace for just over 6,000 yards and would have shattered the NFL record set by Peyton Manning. He claims that his added arm strength has actually helped improve his arm talent by allowing him to make throws he couldn't have made a couple years ago. And that's something his coaches have encouraged since entering the league. By committing himself to working out a little harder and putting in extra reps, Dak has shown that when he commits to something, he's all in. And a big part of his commitment was switching from heavyweights and the way Dak was used to training for a more practical approach. Dak's new approach, resistance work, something that many trainers are borrowing from Tom Brady, has helped Dak improve as a passer and also keeps his right shoulder and arm healthy. With his resistance band set a few inches off the floor, a kneeling Dak holds the bands with both hands and raises the band above his head in a controlled motion, bringing it back down to the middle of his chest. While the resistance band is only the equivalent of 50 pounds, Dak is doing this motion until fail, and by the time he's done, his shoulders, neck, and back are on fire. Prescott also likes to work his core and doing these resistance exercises, which he gets to do with the kneeling resistance band raises, but he also gets to do it with his resistance band overhead pulls, which he does with his right arm, almost like he's shooting a jump shot with his forward motion. Dak also does this until fail and says it looks easy, but works the right muscles in his arms out like any weights could. He says these resistance band exercises help him pass his threshold as a thrower and keep his arms strong throughout the season. He also claims that a strong core only helps him become an even better passer by improving his dexterity, mobility, and escapability. No wonder Dak is so hard to bring down. We told you that Dak was recovering from a gruesome injury which happened to be a compound fracture and dislocation in his right ankle. If you've ever had an ankle injury, even if it's something as simple as an ankle sprain, then you know that rehabbing requires a lot of trying not to re-aggravate the injury. With Dak's lower body exercises, that helps strengthen the ankle, was his main objective, but after the ankle was strengthened, Dak had to get comfortable with the ankle and give himself enough live action on it that when it came to game time, he knew he would be ready. To do this, Dak had a series of exercises added to his workout regime to test his ankle's recovery out. One of the ways Prescott was able to do this is by having a resistance cord attached to him while he did a series of workouts including controlled knee highs, backpedaling, crossover running, which is just running sideways if you're unfamiliar, and a lot of work that targets his injured leg. With the cable, Dak is able to put a little more pressure on his ankles and the surrounding muscles and ligaments to both strengthen them and make sure there is proper circulation going to both ankles, especially his right ankle, which he's been rehabbing. As the injury happened last October, Dak is now approaching a full year since his injury, which is said to be about the beginning of the timetable for an athlete with a similar injury to be fully functional. Dak, and all of his hard work and determination, was able to get himself healthy enough in a shorter time frame that allowed him to be present at training camp and participate with teammates. So pretty much this dude's tireless work ethic is why the Cowboys have their $160 million quarterback and why a $66 million signing bonus is justified. We will see how Dak continues to recover from his ankle injury as the season goes on, as he still doesn't appear to have full mobility back, but that's why it's great that Dak is a dual threat and can beat you both ways and will rely on his arm and extremely high game IQ to keep this offense firing on all cylinders until his ankle is 100%. So what does Dak eat to fuel his game? If you would have asked 3 or 4 years ago, the answer might have been a lot of junk food and with enough cheat days to make it pretty much a cheat week, but lately Dak has taken his diet a lot more seriously. Although Dak's usual pregame meal is still spaghetti and chicken breast drowned in ranch, he's opted for more plates of non-fatty fish and loads of veggies, and a good amount of carbs when he's not getting his carbs from his spaghetti. Dak may be supremely disciplined when it comes to exercise, but when it comes to his diet, he's a little bit more relaxed. But Dak wants it to be known that he still eats loads of vegetables and pays attention to his health. He's just never opting for avocado ice cream and would prefer to sacrifice in the gym to make up for savoring it on his plate. Alright, sports fans, that's it for our time on Dak Prescott and his insane exercise and diet routine. Dak is a workout warrior's workout warrior, and while he recovers from his ankle surgery, he appears to have lost zero ability while being noticeably less mobile. Dak's success on the field this season will hinge on his hard work ethic, which should make Cowboy faithful rest a little easier, because this dude is as determined as they come to not only be great, but to help the Cowboys be super again. Let us know what you think about Dak's workout regimen and his chances of leading the Cowboys towards a Lombardi by dropping us a comment, and as always, if you haven't subscribed to this channel, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date on this channel and more videos just like this. Until next time, sports fans.